Welcome back, everybody. Yes. We have sitting with us in the hot seat, as promised, Debbie Brown Harris.
Hi.
Say hi.
Hey.
We're so glad. Yes, we're so glad that she came out today. Yes. You are in for a tremendous treat.
Yes.
So listen very clearly, because this is a phenomenal young lady that's doing a lot of tremendous things. So listen, get your popcorn, get you something cold to drink. If you're at lunch, get your cell phone, your smart book, whatever, your iPad, and tune in for the next 45 to an hour. You're going to really be blessed. Without further ado.
Debbie is CEO and founder of Unconditional Love Doula and Lil Deb Smoothies, and she's a co-founder of Second Eye IT Security Company. She says writer. I'm saying writer / poet.
Okay.
Nurse, health advocate, full-time mother, renowned singer of the gospel group JAD'L. And if you have not heard JAD'L, you
better tune in.
Them ladies can blow. You hear me?
I'm telling you. They got it going on.
This is Debbie Brown. Now we're going to flow into our first question for you. Okay. So, Deb.
Yes.
Did you and Rick receive premarital counseling before y'all got married?
Yes, we did. We had to because we were broken.
Oh, you got to talk up too, because
we were broken. We needed it. I was a mess, and that was actually my first time receiving counseling in my whole life.
Wow.
And when I went into premarital counseling, I thought I was going into it just to get help for the marriage, but I needed help for myself.
Yeah.
What I found out, so we had to pause on the couple and had to focus on myself first, and he too had to focus on himself because he was actually divorced, and there was a lot of baggage there.
Absolutely.
And I was coming from being a single parent, raising a son, and coming from a way of growing up in a household that was kind of a little dysfunctional with a stepfather who I didn't receive love from. So there was a lot of things that I thought I didn't have to worry about. Maybe I brushed under the rug.
Absolutely.
And I didn't know it was there until I started receiving premarital counseling, and they were like, you know what, pause. I received it from two beautiful couples. You and the Magnums, and also the Smiths. Anybody who's familiar with the Smiths, they also do blended families. So it was something that was enlightening. It was very scary because I had to really find a lot of, I learned a lot about myself that I did not want to learn about. But yes, we did receive premarital counseling.
Okay. Did you bring your sons into it? Because you had a son and he had a son. So did y'all bring them into any of the counseling?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
We did. Yes, we did.
Awesome.
That was important for us to include them in the counseling sessions.
Yes.
That's tremendous.
Because that also helps with the blending process.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Everybody gets to sit around, be open and honest, and have discussions and just dive right on in.
Yes, absolutely right.
It really does help. Okay, so did you feel the counseling was beneficial, and did it prepare you guys to handle disagreements that will come up?
It was beneficial. It was beneficial. It's pulled out a lot of weeds out of my garden.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And in order for me to keep becoming and walk into my full purpose, I had to dig into those weeds and pull them out at the root. And counseling really helped me. I wouldn't say that it, we're still learning each other.
Oh, absolutely.
We're like 3 years in.
Yeah,
right.
Y'all knew
yeah.
that.
So it definitely, while dating Rick, and Rick has been my friend, a lot of people know him by Claude, for a lot of years. So disagreements, it's hard to say, but we don't really have really bad disagreements.
Awesome.
That's good. But I have a temper. You guys probably don't know this.
No, we didn't know this. Okay. We're going to take a commercial. No, I'm joking.
Okay.
Commercial break. No, I'm joking.
This is the thing. When I, coming from a relationship and dating other men in my life, I thought that disagreeing and arguing was being loud screaming. I thought that was love. I thought that was normal.
Right.
And having a man respond the same way. So when I met Rick and when I became his wife, he never did any of those things, and it would actually piss me off.
Got you.
Because I thought, well,
because you were so used to it.
Because I thought this was normal. This is how we get things done. You know, I would want to raise my voice, and he would just sit back and say, "Okay, Debbie, are you finished?" I'm like, "That's it? You're not gonna stand up like you're about to do? You're not gonna raise?"
Yeah.
I keep telling you, I'm not that guy.
Come on now.
And it took me a while. I would really be mad about it, though. I'm like, Debbie, you need to look into the mirror. This is the man of God. This is not normal, what you're thinking.
Yes.
So counseling really helped me to learn that disagreements don't always have to be volatile.
That's right.
And violent and yelling. We can agree to disagree, and we always come to a really good decision where we're at peace, because Rick seeks God all the time. I mean, we breathe, eat, and sleep prayer. So I know that when we have a disagreement and we have to come to a final decision, if he's being led, I follow his lead, and we're at peace with it. It doesn't work out, we'll try something different. There's never any type of animosity or friction with that.
You know, one of the things, and I'm glad that you said that, I just kind of want to interject this, Deb. One of the things I know about relationships is that we have an assumption mindset.
Yes.
We assume that because of our past brokenness or our past dysfunctions in a relationship, that has become, like you forestated, the norm. But see, here's the thing. I want to interject this. When the Lord is the centerpiece of the relationship, forming that relationship.
The glue.
Yes. When he's the forming part of that relationship, what he does, he reduces those historical mindsets that say that this person is going to be this way because the other person was like that, and because it was a male, we assume clearly that male is going to be like that, because what we have not done, we have not discarded the brokenness by going through premarital counseling or counseling inside itself. And so what I realized is that because Rick is who he is, what God has made him, he has caused you, here's my favorite word, he has caused you to pivot from that traditional mindset of disagreement being volatile. And you that are watching us today, you may be in a relationship, you may be getting ready to get into a step family, blended family, and you may have been in prior relationships where it's been kind of very difficult and traumatic and it hasn't been healthy. Remember, you owe it to yourself to get some counseling, some premarital counseling, counseling in general, so that you don't stay there. A lot of people, Deb, are stuck. Christians are stuck, and they don't know how to get out of there until they become honest with themselves that I'm still stuck on that past relationship or the behavior of the person or persons in relationship. And so I'm glad that you are so transparent today.
Yes, we appreciate
so that women can see that, listen, I got A, B, C, and D that I need to get better at. I need to come out of it, but it's not going to come out if I'm not willing to surrender myself to counseling, to premarital counseling, that where it increases my ability to communicate what's really going on with me. Stop suffering in silence.
And a lot of people think that counseling is for crazy people, or that's what the stigma is. You're crazy if you get counseling. No, it's just
crazy if you don't.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just somebody helping you bridge over into a new segue into your life. You know what I mean? To help you move forward past those hurt pains that you've been going through. It really does help. It really does work. If you are open to it, but you have to be open to that. When you're concerned about a blended family, you have to get premarital counseling. You have to get counseling, and we recommend that you bring the kids in one or two of those sessions. Just to, we like to say, and because after you get married, then we encourage you to have a love shop.
Yeah.
And we talked about that on one of our shows. The love shop is simply when you get your family in a circle and y'all just have a discussion. Everybody can talk now. If you want a ball, you can pass everybody the ball. Whoever's holding the ball is the one that gets to speak. But once you are in that circle and you're having your conversations, and it should be a no judgment zone. The kids should be free to speak. And everybody, of course, should be respectful, but The kids should be free to speak. The adults free to speak. You be truthful, honest, open. And when you're transparent, I'm telling you, man, you'll know where your kids are, what they're thinking, you know what I mean? How they feel about, this whole new family system.
Yeah.
And it is amazing. It will help. You'll be surprised how much it help you. After you have that love shop, then turn it into a game night or movie night.
There were some tips that you guys gave us actually in counseling, and if I must say, counseling should be ongoing.
Absolutely.
Like premarital counseling was okay, but we saw that we needed more because we were in a blended family, and it's just always evolving.
Absolutely.
And the kids, they're growing. They're not like when I was dating, my husband. My bonus son was 4. He's going to be 9 soon.
Wow.
And my oldest, he's going to be 16.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're transitioning through their life too. And we need to know how to kind of adapt to that.
Absolutely.
And adapt to each other with the changes. And then, we have the little toddler.
Yes.
So I'm in motherhood mode all over again. So I'm just learning so many different new things about my own self that I didn't learn when I had my first son because of the season that I was in was kind of toxic.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But you know what?
Yeah.
What I'm grateful for, Deb, is I hear you share the different levels that you've been at as a mom, as a bonus mom, as a wife now.
Yes.
Life is about levels
Yeah.
and seasons. And I think when we understand that we've been put here to have seasons, sometimes those seasons are very challenging.
Very.
But the other side of those seasons are very blessed. And so we have to learn how to balance when the challenging time comes, use those seasons to learn. Allow those seasons become teachable moments.
Absolutely.
And then you can, when the evolution comes of the children, 16-year-old, 9-year-old, 2-year-old, then you're talking about 18, then you're talking about 11, because it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. The kids going to keep growing and experiencing different things. But I think you and Rick are setting yourself up to be tremendously blessed because you guys are open enough to let God come in and to let yourselves come in and to be communicative and also to be transparent. One of the things I always talk about, and we're going to get to the next question, is that transparency doesn't put your bad stuff so much on the forefront. What it shows is that you're growing.
Yeah.
True transparency is be honest and have the courage to grow. Transparency to me and my wife is our growth. And I think we really, and I say this not bragging, I say this with a great deal of humility, but a great deal of confidence, audience, that my wife and I are getting ready to celebrate 15 years of marriage. We've been knowing each other almost 17 years. And we've been in the blended family for a long time. Trust me. We got blended family grandbabies now. And we are excited about that because we were transparent.
Yes.
We were willing to grow. With one another, with one another's children, because she's a bonus mom as well as a biological mom. I'm a bonus dad as well as a biological dad. And here's the thing, the beauty of it, we're still learning.
Yep.
We have not put a concrete stamp on it.
No.
We are always open to learn. And let me tell you something, as long as kids and grandkids or whoever's in your family, if you learn, you're going to be tremendous.
Yes, all about educating.
So number 3. Did you have any concerns about entering into a blended family / step family? What were some of your concerns? Because you're going into a new family. You have your own son, and your wonderful husband has a son from a previous marriage, and you got to put them thing all in the mixer and put the fruit and all of this stuff in. And then you got to turn it on. And you gotta make that thing go.
Straight from your book.
The
Ingredients.
The ingredients. That's right.
Straight from the book. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I was very afraid.
Yeah. Say that again, though, because we want you to be honest, and our audience to know that it's okay to be afraid. That's what she's saying. She was afraid, but it's okay to be afraid.
I was afraid, and I knew in my heart that God put Rick in my life.
Yeah.
For a reason and a purpose.
Yes.
And the purpose wasn't so much about me and him being united as one in our family, but to actually bless others and for us spiritually to become connected to God, because that's what it was really about.
Absolutely.
Our spiritual life with God has gotten so much better.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Our sons, we're seeing it in our sons. So I was afraid because, number one, it was just me and my oldest for the longest time, me and my son. So I was afraid of how he would adapt to it.
Yes.
And I knew he's mama's boy. You know, he's very protective.
And that's okay.
And I knew that there was still a strain on the relationship with his father that he wants to fix so badly.
Yes.
So for him to have another male role model stepping in was going to be a little struggle. And these are things that I just had to leave at the foot of Jesus, because I knew that I was doing the right thing, but I was still afraid because it could backfire.
Yeah. Yes. Right.
And that's a chance I was willing to take, because I knew that this could help my sons get to heaven. My son needed to be in a positive environment, and I was moving him away. You know, I transitioned from Philly to Maryland, so I was going through so much. I was like, I'm going to be in Maryland. I hardly know anyone there. Yes. It's a new life. I've been raised in Philly. My family's in Philly. You guys know this.
Right.
So it was hard for me. Then I decided to homeschool. That was another transition I had to do. It was just so much. And then I had to transition into becoming a wife. And for so many years, I was a single parent.
Say that thing. Come on,
I was a single parent, and my mom always put this independent fire within me and my sisters. And I was playing a role as a father and a mother. And it was hard for me to let go of that with Rick. I became mad again. Yeah. Because I was like, why are you washing my car? Why are you taking my car? Why did you buy me a car, number one? I could buy my own car. It was that independence thing. Yes. Why are you doing the laundry? Why are you doing this? Things that I did that a man should have been doing, but I did not know that, because the norm for me was do everything. And I saw my mom doing everything. Right. And so it was a habit that I learned. And it was hard for me to transition from that and just accept Rick, accept his help, his love. And being a bonus mom, you know, there was I had anxiety, because I'm going to be honest, my bonus son, I love him to death. But he and my oldest are total opposites. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I had to adjust to his personality. Absolutely. You know, my oldest is very laid back and chill. You guys know that.
Yeah, definitely. Without a doubt. He's laid back.
He is.
And the middle, my bonus son, just
live wire, yes.
And that brought me a lot of anxiety. Yeah. In the first couple of years, I didn't know how to balance that. Honestly, when we would have him come over every other weekend, we would get him during the summer. I'm going to be honest, sometimes I would remove myself purposely from being around when he came, because I didn't know how to navigate that personality. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't know how to put structure, or not even structure, but just how to deal with that personality. And I had to pray about it, because I was missing out on spending time with him.
Absolutely.
And I just let Rick deal with him, you know, and whatever that may be. And I went to classes. I found some free classes on different personalities with children, and how all of your kids have different personalities, and how to love on them and their love language. Absolutely. Because I wanted to get better, and it's gotten so much better. And I think it's because, you know, he's growing. He's not little anymore, a toddler. He's growing, and I'm learning how to adapt to his personality, and how to nourish him as well as nourish Baya with his personality, and the little one, because he's a lot too. Yeah. Personality. So I was afraid, but you know, God did not give us a spirit of fear.
That's right.
So I had to leave that in God's hands. Just say, give me the tools that I need. Yes. To just be a better mother.
Yeah.
Wow. Well said. Yeah. You said so much.
That took courage.
Yeah. It took a tremendous amount of courage
for you to do that. That took courage, and you are to be commended for that. Thank you. Seriously.
Yeah, you are.
Because there's so many people that are suffering in silence. They're not saying anything, and they're just sitting there dealing with all these anxieties. Because there is help. There is help, though. There is help to help to help people navigate through these waters. You know, and you could have called us. We would have helped you with that, but that's all right.
But I know you guys have a lot on your plate.
Yeah, but you know what? I want to echo this, Deb. That by looking for classes to equip you.
Yes.
That is to be definitely applauded.
That was awesome.
Because that's a strategic part of you where you became a mentor to your bonus son. Yes. See, a lot of times people think mentoring is just doing certain things, taking them out to the park, taking them out to the movies. But you have to become a quick mentor.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You have to understand that maybe I don't have all of the things because you're not his biological mother. So that was another space you was in.
Yes.
I'm not his biological mother, and I don't know if you thought
So
this.
what are my boundaries?
Right. And then I don't know if a lot of women think, well, I don't know what to say. Like my wife will say, what are my boundaries? And then I don't know how close to get to him right now, because what we have to realize, psychiatrists say that it normally takes 3 to 6 years for a blended family to mesh, but there's so many levels and so many pockets and components that are involved with the evolution of a successful blended family. But you've taken steps.
Yes.
And you need to be commended
That
and
is
applauded for your bravery.
Yes.
Because guess what? Sisters out here that's going into this, listen, if you want to know something about being brave, you need to tune into this radio show today, because Deb is dropping some nuggets.
Yes.
Because I can't tell you how a woman should act in a biological or bonus, as a biological or bonus mom in a blended family style. I can only tell you how a gentleman should act, a father, a biological father and a bonus father, because I don't ever cross those boundaries. I have some understanding of the behaviors and the psyche of a woman, but I can't walk in that. I'm just keeping it 100, gentlemen.
So he leaves that part to
I
me.
leave that to my wife. She can run in that lane with so much success. And I asked her, what should I do next? I need your tremendous advice and guidance to navigate. And so what you just did in the last 2 or 3 minutes, you gave of yourself. And I pray that women today don't let the negative or the fearful stigma of what you may have to cross into going into a blended or step family to stop you from being the very best version of yourself.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Absolutely.
That's what it's about.
Go ahead, babe.
All right, so what has been your greatest challenge and your greatest joy in this blended family?
It's a 2-part question.
As a blended family mom.
It's very challenging. I'm not gonna sugarcoat.
Can
This
you
is
give
not, this
me-
is
give
not
us-
for the weary.
The faint of heart.
The faint of heart is.
If you're faint of heart, don't step in.
If you are rushing,
Without God, especially.
If you're rushing to get married and have a blended family, don't do it because the one of just to feel complete, and because that's not gonna help. You really have to be ready and prepared. But my challenge would have to be, I think,
One of your greatest challenges.
one is as a mother, I have a certain expectancy from my household.
Okay.
I guess structure, you would say, and just keeping that balance with my bonus son, because he's not with us all the time.
Right.
So it's a challenge to make sure I'm reiterating, this is what needs to be done in our house, so this is how we are going to conduct in our house, so this is what's not going to be allowed.
Yes.
But then he gets it, but then sometimes when he comes back to us, it's kind of like we have to reiterate it again, which is not his fault.
You have to reprogram
we
him.
have to reprogram him. So
Well, that's because he's with his birth mother
most of the time.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying anything that she's doing is wrong.
No.
But it's just a different way.
It's just different
of
parenting
household.
styles.
Exactly.
Right. Different parenting
So
styles.
I think that was the most challenging. I would get really frustrated, and then I had to say to myself, you know what? Look at his age. You have to understand he's still understanding this whole situation. I have to just be really understanding of the situation.
Absolutely.
And put myself in his shoe. Like at his age, there's not a lot. He's just like, oh, I'm here with my family. I'm gonna have fun. He's not thinking about, oh, remember this and that. So it's just more. So I just have to be, just talk more, communicate more with him, and just remember that he's gonna get it.
And he is going to get it.
He'll get it.
Be more,
But patience. See, here's a word
My husband
we
has
as
a lot of
humans, we as humans and Christians, listen, we don't do well with that spiritual principle called patience. But I will tell you right now, if you're in a blended family or step family,
you need it.
it is mandated.
You need it.
And if you try to fight against it,
Yes.
God will help you get some patience, because those babies and those young people in your family will teach you how to have patience.
Mercy and grace.
So what's your greatest joy?
My greatest joy? Wow. I hope I don't tear up with this one. Honestly, seeing how a father and a son relationship is supposed to be.
Yes.
Rick is an awesome father, and that's because his dad, rest in peace, his dad and him had a great relationship. And when I see the way he interacts with his son, his biological, like, that melts my heart. And then even my own son, him calling him son, and he does whatever he can do for my oldest, and no limits. Like, it's just, it doesn't matter. And that just warms my heart, because my father died when I was 3. So I never had that relationship with with my father, never knowing how that bond is supposed to be. Yeah. And my son never had that with his father. Yeah. So when I see it, it's beautiful.
Yes. Yes,
Let me say this.
Yes, it is.
It's beautiful.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And I'm going to say this to you. I know your
It's
husband.
beautiful.
And he is a phenomenal person.
Yes, he is.
And you can, I'm going to tell you, Doc D don't just say that off the top of his head.
Yes, he's
I won't say nothing negative about a man, because I don't operate in negativity.
Yes, yes.
I operate in helpful evaluation. That's what I do. But when I first met this brother, he didn't know that they called me Papa D was in the family for a minute.
Yeah.
And I was surveying spiritually and discerning spiritually for these young ladies. I call them all my daughters, and but that's me. I mean, no pun intended on nobody.
Daughters,
but I was
nieces.
the spiritual nieces, and but when I met him, I could understand the value of him being a man of color and a man of God.
Yes.
And those are 2 different entities. Trust me.
Yes.
They got 2 different wavelengths. But what I found out about him, I knew that he was going to be good for Bea.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I've been around them. Boy, I ain't just came around from the first day.
Even not only just good to Bea, but he honors Debbie.
No, but
He honors
and
his wife,
and that's
and
it. That's incredibly important.
to see.
But what I do understand by being a dad and a
Yes.
granddad,
Yes.
that is very important, that the relationship between these young men
Yes. So they can
are
pick this up.
really important
Yes.
to the mentor,
Absolutely.
to the mentee. Because when you are a bonus dad, your goal
His bonus.
is to be the
Bonus.
mentor for the mentee. And he is taking on that role
Yes.
graciously. He has a loving heart. He has a firmness about him that has to be. Let me say this real quick.
Yes.
If you are a man of God and you have children, you cannot allow societal norms to engraft your sons
That's right.
and say that they can do anything, anytime, do what they want. No, they have to have discipline and structure and teaching. Discipline doesn't mean hitting them over their heads.
No.
This would mean that I'm going to teach you some things
Absolutely.
that will allow you to elevate and to move to another
Absolutely.
stratosphere. And that's what I've seen Rick has done. Now we got the little man on.
Yes, and he's
You know, and he is already his own person.
Yes, he'll be 2 in
But
August.
He'll be
but
doing
because
all
of Rick's,
Yes,
I'm singing your praises, Rick,
yes,
because I have a right to.
yes, sweetie.
You have been the man of God, the Boaz,
Yes.
to Debbie, to Bea,
Thank you, Jesus.
to little Rick, and to the main one right now. Every time I see the young man,
Beautiful.
it's beautiful. And so
beautiful.
Deb, we appreciate your transparency and your honesty, because we hope that some women are watching
Yes.
that don't have a man in their life yet, to not to give up,
Don't give up.
because God got your Boaz, Ruth.
Yes.
I'm changing your name. I'm sorry. He got your Boaz waiting on you so you can become the Ruth to your children. Don't ever give up. That's what she's saying.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging. But there's some great stuff coming. Because I said this the other day real quick. If it's no difficulties, there will never be any triumphs. True triumphs. Because true difficulties and pain brings forth triumphs and victories. I can tell you that out of my life. But this ain't about me. But I look at Deb and I look at Rick and I look at their sons. Amazing
Transformation, God. Thank you.
men of God in the making.
Yes.
Because they got a man of God at the top.
Yes.
He is their covering
Yes. Yes.
for Deb and the boys.
Yes.
And so when they hit society, they're going to change the earth for the Lord
Yes.
and the schools.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead first, lady.
All right. So, what advice would you give a newly married couple about blending?
What advice? Wow. I was one of those people that always asked for advice, and you know, your journey is your journey.
Yes.
Because the advice that I got from some people, it wouldn't work for my particular situation.
Right.
So I say, number one, please put God first.
Yes.
And it may sound cliche because a lot of people say it. Put God, that's what they said to me when I was getting married. Put God first. Put God first. I'm like, oh, okay, what else? Give me something else. But it's true.
Yes, it's true.
Because, you know, in the beginning
It's
of our
true.
marriage, we didn't really put God first. It was just, you know, it was just a lot, you know, blended family, and we did not pray together every morning like we were supposed to and everything. And when we start shifting and putting God first, man, everything changed.
Absolutely.
I mean, and when I say it
Absolutely.
changed,
Absolutely.
like our vision was clearer, our clarity about what we need as a family was clear. Everything just started to fall in place. And even when things were tough, we had that constant peace because we knew he was at the top. So please, it is very important to put God first. Husbands, please. God, you and God have to be like this, because if you understand the love that Christ had for the church, you will be able to evoke that same love with your wife. It's
Absolutely.
it's like there's nothing Rick won't do for me. I know that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's clear.
The love that he gives to me
Yes.
shows me the love that God has for me. It's so beautiful. It's just he really has those fruits of the spirit, and it's just
Yes.
amazing. His
Absolutely.
patience for me,
Absolutely.
he just accepts me as I am, and he's building me up into my purpose. He's leading me, and I just never had that before. It's beautiful, and set boundaries.
Absolutely.
I had to learn that. You guys remember that talk
Yes,
you gave me?
yes.
Absolutely.
I was crying. You was like, get some backbone. You got to get. No, but you was
Absolutely.
real, because I was at a broken point, and I
Yeah.
was making someone else take control of my emotions.
Yeah.
You have to set boundaries with the other
Absolutely.
parties involved.
Yeah, no,
to
you
protect
do.
your spirit,
Absolutely.
your peace. Because
Absolutely.
if my
And to
peace,
protect your children.
if my peace is not protected, it really wreaks havoc on the whole household.
Yeah.
And Rick always tells me that, like, I tell him when it's off, because it affects him, affects the kids.
Absolutely.
So I have to make sure that I'm covered at
Absolutely.
all times. No negative energy. I have to make sure.
Absolutely.
And I've been doing that, and it's been working.
All right.
And you know, I
Yes.
can tell by the
Telling
glow
you.
in your spirit
Yes.
today
Yes.
Man,
that
it's been
you and
working.
Rick have made that decision.
Yes.
And see, let me say this real quick. You have to be intentional
You
Yes.
got to.
about having your house
Absolutely.
led by
You
God.
got to.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to sit up here and play no games with people, because
No,
I've been in
no.
this business too long. And I know what God being the center of my wife and our relationship with our
Yes.
bonus kids and our
Yes.
biological kids, every day ain't going to be smooth. Let me keep it real, because God is running your life. It's going to be some days that you will be challenged, but you won't be challenged alone. You'll be
right.
challenged with God on your side.
That's right.
I often tell people, and a lot of people are playing, millennials are playing, not because they're playing on purpose, but because they don't understand the value
Yes.
that where it can take you when God is really first.
Yes.
It's not a cliche. It's a
It's
cliche because we don't activate it.
Come on
That's
now.
when it become a cliche. When we don't intentionally activate God being first in everything that we do. And I know some people think they can outsmart God. They think they can take a shortcut. But see,
do it.
I'm looking at this young lady now, and I know her husband.
He's
I know her
omniscient.
children. And
know
I'm
me
telling
for a
you,
long time.
All
that
powerful.
he
Sees
can do
everything.
anything.
Yes.
He can cause you to really pivot. There's
Yes.
one scripture say, "He which has begun a good work
Yes,
in you
yes,
will fulfill it until the day of Christ."
Yes.
And see, what we don't realize, that the evolution of your family will allow you and Rick to be the cover for God, for blended and step families that are millennials in the 21st century. See, people don't want to take on that task. But my wife and I, we made a decision, we're going to take on the task.
Absolutely.
And we're going to do what we need to do to encourage, to equip, and to empower blended family and step families to be. And we don't take no credit for what Deb is doing, but we've been hanging around her and Rick
mentors.
long enough to mentor them. Find you somebody to mentor.
Yes, that's another advice.
My positive.
Find someone that will mentor you, someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, they say that again.
I'm sorry.
You
Not
got to say
just
that.
speaking, but know, and you can see it in their life.
That's right.
Okay? Because people like to talk a lot of talk, but then when you look at their life, they're like, wait, we're not doing what you said. These people are a blessing.
That's right.
They're one of our mentors, and we look up to you guys so much. You have no idea.
We love you guys tremendously.
do.
I'm getting
Yes,
filled
we
up.
do.
Let me
All
move
right,
on.
yeah, let's move on.
because
Okay, so
I'm about to get turned up in here.
Okay. Y'all, they starting to get mushy. Okay. So, what inspired you to start Unconditional Love Doula and tell everybody about your services that you provide?
Okay, Unconditional Love Doula something I birthed through becoming a mother myself. It was at a scary point in my life, and I was scared. I was pregnant out of wedlock. I had a lot of naysayers in the church that I thought was there for me that wasn't. My family was there, but it was still a lot of things that I didn't know going into motherhood that I needed an advocate for. So I felt alone still. Yeah. And I didn't want another female to feel like that. There's a lot of females that feel that way when they're going through that most important journey of their life. Yes. It should be empowering. Yes. And there was a lot of choices I made during my pregnancy and after that I should not have known. I did not know I had choices of certain things and different ways to go about things. And I wanted to do that. And the funny thing is, I was doing that with my sisters and my friends, but I wasn't like trained. So I decided to go into training for it. And so I could be better equipped. So I love to help women to give them that support. And it was kind of hard for me because coming from a clinical background, I had to cut off the clinical side. I don't do anything clinical. I'm there for encouragement, for the emotional support, for the continuous mental support, and just advocating, and what they need and what you need. A lot of that when you're expecting, and it's been a blessing for me. My goal is to really reach women who have been in domestic abuse relationships. Yes. Because that is the community that's kind of forgotten. The women who are in halfway homes or even in prisons, because they become mothers in those situations.
Absolutely.
Yes, very much so.
They don't have the support. So my goal is, and I'm speaking into existence. There's some things that's starting to happen and fall in place, and I will be venturing out into that niche very soon. That's my call, and I need to help those women, single mothers. I've been there. Wow. I know how it is. Abused, and when I say abused, I'm not talking just physical. I'm talking about emotionally, and I've been there, and I know how it feels. So that's what my services are for. I want to be a vessel. I know how it feels, and I just feel like this is one of my callings.
But tell everybody what the doula part is.
So the doula is a vessel, a person who is a birth companion. I'm trying to do it in layman's term. Yes. Not a midwife, but a birth companion who has continuous support and gives continuous support to a woman who is about to be a mother. During her prenatal stage, during labor, we stay with you throughout the whole labor, and even after postpartum, we check in and we see how you're doing. And we
Wonderful.
give that,
Awesome.
Sometimes it can just be a phone call. Sometimes some people just want consultation.
Absolutely.
And they don't want the actual labor for me to be. That's fine. Some people want me to be at the labor, but just to have that continuous support, someone you can call in the middle of the night. Wow. I don't know. That's what I'm there for.
Awesome.
So
one of the things that we tell, just to add a little bit, one of the things that we tell people is God is the giver of life.
Yes, He is.
So there is no child on this earth, including all of us, all you grown folk, there's no child on this earth that is an accident.
No.
Not at all.
And that took a long time for me to accept, because I felt like that for a while when I was...
Well, the outside pressures, the religious pressures, the church pressures, they make you feel like because of that thing, there was an accident or a mistake. But we don't carry that in the Mangum household. No, we don't carry that Imagine Me Family Worship Center.
Exactly. Okay, so we're going to get into
the next question.
The next question, but I'm going to two questions.
Okay.
Go two.
Combined in one, okay? So, what inspired you? Because she also has Lil Deb Smoothies.
The bomb, they're the bomb. I'm letting you know.
Delicious, okay? They automatically make your body feel healthy, okay? So, your Lil Deb Smoothies, and how important is it tell blended families out there how important it is for them to take their health seriously?
Okay, so Lil Deb Smoothies was something that I birthed again. I was always health conscious, but the first year of my marriage, my husband needed to do certain things with his health, and I'm not going to sit there and just let it just waste away. I'm not like that. And I got on it with him, and we did a long regimen where we just did smoothies for a couple of weeks. I did it with him to encourage him, and he would just say, "Debbie, these smoothies are good." Like, no, he spoke it into me. He said, "You need to start a YouTube page. You need to do business." And I didn't believe in myself. I said, "A lot of people are doing this." He said, "It doesn't matter." He said, "You have a gift. Like, every day is getting better and better." He said, "I want you to do this," and he kept speaking it into me. He kept saying, "I want you to do this," and I did it
because they're not doing it the way you're doing it.
No,
some of the ingredients.
Yes,
some of the ingredients that you use. I've been to several smoothie places, and they are not using some of the ingredients that you're using, and I'm like, wow. Yes. Okay,
so I know it's beneficial, and my husband, he led me. He believed in me, and he saw something that I didn't see, and because of that, I started Lil Deb Smoothies, and it's very important to have a healthy family for me. Healthy meaning physically, mentally, spiritually, the whole spectrum, because I could see that what is done for my family, and when something is missing, it just wreaks havoc on everything. So if you're not putting good things in your temple, it will affect your mental. No, it really will.
Say that again, and you need to say that loud. Say it.
We're battling depression. People are battling a lot of mental issues.
Yes.
Cognitive impairment. Just can't think and focus clarity. It's because of what you're ingesting. It has a lot to do with that. There's other things involved too, but what you're ingesting is very important. What you're reading, what you're listening to, it's all important. Health is very important, and health. When you think of health, it's not just about nutrition. It's about your whole well-being.
Absolutely,
very important.
Wow,
that's
awesome.
Wonderful.
Deb, you just have enlightened our audience on so many levels. But what we want to do? How can people reach out to you and get in contact with you through social media outlets?
So, my business account was hacked a few months ago.
Mercy.
So Instagram, but that was God telling me He didn't want me to have a business account for my smoothie account. He wanted me to just keep it on a website, and I just listened to that. I heed to the voice. So my website is www.lildeb.smoothies.com. And on there, you can see an array of smoothies that I offer. Also, I do workshops. I have a community event coming up tomorrow. And after this, I have a smoothie show that I'll be doing. And then
she does conferences.
I do conferences. I do community. I do demonstrations. I also am a produce shopper. So for some people who do not know how to pick produce, I do that for them as well. And also my Unconditional Love Doula. You can reach me at unconditionallovedouladb@gmail.com, and those are the two ways to contact my businesses.
Wow. Right. Listen, we're almost out of time, but if you had listened to this show today, we want to tell you this. If you missed it, if you haven't listened, rather, if you wasn't able to listen, go back on WBGR or Facebook Live, and then you can do a watch party, and you can listen to this show after it's off of air. We have been privileged and blessed to have Deb come on Straight Talk About the Blended Family to share these valuable principles with our audience and with you.
Yes.
We want you to be better. We want you to be the very best version of yourself, of your family, spiritually, practically, as well as therapeutically, because guess what? We deserve to win.
Yes.
The blended family and step family is no longer a losing system or structure of people. You have to take yourself seriously because you're precious in the sight of God. My wife and I, we believe that we have been given a ministry through this radio platform to share different views and different opinions and different factual means to help families and blended family. And you know what? You don't even have to be in a blended family, step family to be blessed by our guests and our audiences. Guess what? Tune in. Tune in to where you need to be blessed. Stop accepting failure. Stop accepting defeat, because you are made to be a winner. You are made to be phenomenal and successful, to be tremendous. With that being said, we're going to close with a word of prayer. Father, we thank you for this amazing opportunity to share with your daughter, Deb. And
Lord.
God, we thank you for everything that you've given her to bring forth in the universe to change people. Bless us as we go forward. In the precious name of your Son. Amen.
Amen.
So, Deb, we thank you so much. You were just phenomenal. We had a blast with you today. Girl, you a bad. Shut your mouth. And she was on the hot seat. I didn't even know she was on the hot seat. She just flowed. She just flowed. And so.
That's awesome. I had an awesome experience. I love being transparent. It heals me and it helps other people.
Very therapeutic.
We're all going through something.
Yeah, we are. We have not arrived yet.
Man,
Absolutely.
just keep watering that garden.
So everybody stay tuned. Next week we will have Denisha Sally, another special guest on our show. And for the month of June,
the brothers are going to be on.
The fellas in the hot seat.
The fellas going to be in the hot seat. We got some fellas that's coming in, dropping some stuff.
So this month, the month of May, we're giving you the female perspective. Then the month of June, we're going to give you the male perspective, okay?
Yeah.
On this blended family thing, all right?
I'm Doc D.
I'm Michelle.
And we are the Mangums.
Well, it's that time to end the show, but we've had an absolute blast.
Please come back and check us out on next Wednesday from 1:30 to 2:30, to where we will share some more insights on how the blended family can rise. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you. Peace be upon you.